According to the National Electrical Code, a 20 amp receptacle supplying a bolted load can be legal under specific circumstances. The key is understanding the exceptions that apply to cord and plug connected loads. It's important to note that a cord and plug connected load is not always considered a standard branch circuit load. This is where the exception comes into play, allowing a 20 amp receptacle on a 20 amp circuit to supply a load that might otherwise seem non-compliant. The National Electrical Code section 210.21. The 2 is what governs the scenario. It outlines the conditions under which a receptacle can supply a load. Now, let's break down the conditions that must be met for this to be legal. Firstly, the cord connecting the load to the receptacle must not exceed 6 feet in length. This limitation is in place to ensure the load is reasonably close to the power source and doesn't create undue stress on the circuit. Secondly, the load itself cannot exceed 80% of the branch circuit's ampere rating. In this specific case, the branch circuit is rated at 20 amps. Therefore, the load cannot exceed 16 amps, which is 80% of 20 amps. If the load is drawing more than 16 amps, then the setup would violate the code. Thirdly, the load should not be permanently fastened in place. The intention here is that the load should be easily movable. This flexibility is a key characteristic of cord and plug connected equipment and distinguishes it from hardwired installations. Now, the original scenario mentions that the load runs for no more than 30 minutes. However, it's important to note that this duration is not a specified requirement in the National Electrical Code for the exception to apply. The legality hinges on the cord length, the load not exceeding 80% of the branch circuit rating, and the load not being permanently fastened in place. In summary, a 20 amp receptacle on a 20 amp individual branch circuit can legally supply a 20 amp cord and plug connected load bolted to the floor, so long as the cord is 6 feet or less, the actual load is 16 amps or less, and it can be moved.